Hello and welcome to Bolt Action Reloading. If you're interested in another large rifle primer test in 6.5 Creedmoor, stick around. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here and you'd like to see how I and the rest of me here make our group smaller, start now by subscribing to the channel and hitting the bell icon. That way you get notified when I post new videos and you won't miss anything. Now, like I said in the intro, this is an extension of the large rifle primer testing that we've previously done on the channel. If you guys haven't caught that, I'll put a card up and you guys can go check that video out. And that might give you an idea of kind of where we're starting from today. In today's video, we're going to be going over 4 different primers that we did not previously test, as well as trying to verify one that we had good results with before. If you guys have been hanging around the channel a while, you'll know that one of my pet loads is the 140 grain ELD match by Hornady, loaded behind 41.3 grains of H4350. This is the same identical load that we used in the last testing. However, we did switch brass today, which probably will affect our load slightly. Previously, we have tested a much larger sample of large rifle primers, but I really didn't want to have to repeat all of this, and I had 25 pieces to load, and this is a test that I've been wanting to run for a while. So here we are today. Let's get right into our load for today. Today's projectile is a 140 grain ELD match by Hornady, part number 26331. The powder is Hodgdon H4350, loaded at 41.3 grains. The cartridge overall length will be 2.852 inches. And in this video, unlike the old one, we'll be using Sig Brass instead of the Hornady. And the variable we'll be testing today, obviously, is the primers. Before we get straight into the data, the test platform today is my Ruger Precision Rifle Generation 1, chambered in 6.5 Creedmoor. And if you want to know all of the details, I'll post them down in the description box below. I will let you in on a little secret. One of the most asked questions on this channel is, why are you using Magnum primers? And simply because it typically gives me the best statistics. Now, today's video, we are going to talk about group size as usual. However, much to the chagrin of some people, I'm sure, I'm going to pretty much be ignoring that data across the board. I'm not going to promise that the group size has anything to do with the primer in this particular case. Basically, I'm trying to find the best statistics that I can with whatever primer the primer is giving me. And like many of my videos, I'm sure that this test will frustrate some people. So if you're one of those, I apologize in advance, but this is the data that I got in the testing, and I thought you might be interested. So, like I mentioned, kind of our base standard load, we're using the CCI 250 Large Rifle Magnum Primer. Now, our last video, depending on how you want to view it, this did give us some of our best statistics across the board. In our previous video with this load, it actually achieved a standard deviation of 5, an extreme spread of only 13. The velocity achieved during that test was 2660 feet per second, and it was only a .933 MOA group. Now, if we were going strictly by group size, we might interpret this data slightly differently. However, in this particular case, again, like I mentioned, we're just looking for the most consistent velocity across the board. In this particular case, I think it's much more than the primer that's going to be affecting our group size. But like I said, I included it just for your entertainment. Now, if you'll see, so we'll start right back off with our CCI 250. In today's testing, we achieved 2676 feet per second. Our standard deviation jumped to 19.7 with an extreme spread of 51 and a 1.111 MOA group. Obviously, jumping from 5 to 19 is quite a jump, and obviously not what I was expecting. And guys, I will tell you, I've had very consistent luck with this primer across the board, and I'm just going to have to give the CCI 250 a mulligan here if possible. Removing the actual flyer from the group, the standard deviation drops to 8.7 with an extreme spread of 18, certainly significantly different than the 51. So if you'd like to take those statistics going forward, you can. If you want to stick with the original, I guess that's up to you. All of the rest of the statistics going forward will be based on all of the 5-shot groups. No more mulligans. Moving right along to the Remington 9.5M. The actual average velocity was 2675, standard deviation of 7, extreme spread of 19, and a 1.037 MOA group. Moving on to the Winchester Large Rifle Magnum Primer, our velocity right back to 2676 feet per second, standard deviation of 7.2, extreme spread of 14, and a .615 MOA group. Moving right along, you'll see that I actually found some Federal 215 Large Rifle Magnum Primers. The average velocity on that load was again 2676 feet per second, standard deviation of 6.7, extreme spread of 16, and a .775 MOA group. The last primer we'll discuss today is a Federal 215 Large Rifle Magnum Primer. However, this obviously is the standard version. Our actual velocity was 2682 feet per second on average, standard deviation of 7, extreme spread of 18, and a .704 MOA group. I do realize that the statistics on 5-shot samples is a relatively poor sample. However, I did just want to get a baseline for some of these primers, see what I got, and see what I might expect going forward. One thing at least I think is interesting right off the gate, that 4 of the 5 primers basically average almost exactly 2676 feet per second, if you'll allow me to include the 9.5M in those results. Being off only 1 feet per second, I guess I feel it falls right back in there. Ignoring the one shot on the CCI 250 string, it still had the largest standard deviation of 8.7, but most of the standard deviations across these primers was 7, and of all primers, the Winchester Large Rifle Magnum primer had the best extreme spread of only 14. Probably not too shocking, it actually had the best group of all. So I guess it depends on how you want to grade it. If you're looking for extreme spread and group size, certainly the Winchester Large Rifle Magnum primer would win the contest for today. The 215M certainly had the best standard deviation, but certainly the other primers were not too far behind it. So I'll put a quick shot of the bass on your screen, guys, if you're interested. Really nothing to see here. I do think the internal case capacity of the SIG probably did affect our results slightly compared to the Hornady, but I really don't want to hold any of the results specifically against the primers because, to be honest, after shooting a couple load tests with this Sig Brass, I really haven't been extremely impressed so far. I have a couple ideas moving forward, but those are going to be another topic for another day in another video. So that's about as short and sweet as I can make it for today. So as you guys can see, even with brass that I'm not extremely happy with, the Large Rifle Magnum primers really have given me some reasonable standard deviations across the board. I think I'm going to do some more extreme case preparation to the Sig Brass and improve the statistics that I'm getting a little bit more. But I'd certainly love to hear what you guys think in the comments section below. Probably the next time I run this test, I will include a much larger sample size to get a little bit better idea to see what the statistics actually we can get and see how much we can shrink those extreme spreads, because obviously that's what we're really going for. Even if you're not a fan of using Magnum primers with 6.5 Creedmoor, I really hope you enjoyed today's video. If you have any comments or questions, please put those in the comments section below. If you're not subscribed to the channel and you like the content, please consider subscribing to the channel, hitting the like button, and if you want to catch the old video, that card's probably still up there. You can catch that video. Until next week, stay safe in small groups.